What up, Jake Pollers? It's your boy, Mr. Borchard. Welcome back to a week of Bible class, my guy. What's up? I think I'm gonna leave this on for a little bit. Does it do any of this cool stuff? No, it doesn't do that. That's okay. Well, here's the thing, Low Gang. We got quite a bit to go over today as far as Bible class is concerned, okay? But first of all, you need to pause this video, stop and pause this video if you have not watched the video that I have given to all classes, okay? I have made a video that has specific information about devotionals and also information about quizzes and tests, and that is under Sycamore, the documents section. Before you even click into a class folder, there will be a separate document that has it says, watch this before anything, okay? And so you'll click on that video, copy and paste the link into the web browser. You'll find that video that has very important information that I will not cover in this video. So you have to go watch that one, okay? Pause it right now if you haven't. Okay, you should be back by now after having watched that video. And I've got some things to go over with you, okay? I'm here in your class under Sycamore. I can see file day number 22, 23, and 24. It's day number 22 because that's where we left off in the test before Montezuma's revenge. I mean, the coronavirus struck, and so now we're doing all this stuff, okay? So under day 22, if you click on it, you'll see a ton of files there, okay? I have now clicked on day number 22, 12th grade. It's an Excel spreadsheet. It's the agenda kind of thing that I normally post in all my classes, so you should be able to see that there. I'm trying to get this weird coloring to go away. Do you guys see this? I'm like blue right now. Whatever, I'm just beyond all comprehend. Oh, well, there it goes. Yes, open that, because that's where I'm at right now. I'm looking at it. You should look at it too. If I got to do it, you got to do it, my guy. Richard, stop complaining. This isn't boring. And also, Zachary, yes, you may use the restroom. Stop asking. Okay. All right. So we're looking at day 22 agenda. We got a few line items to go over and a few things to explain. Okay. So first of all is the devotional. If you watched the other video, you know what to do. So we're not going to get into that yet. I'll pray and then give you some time on this video to pause and go do that devotional. And then we've got an economy video and notes. Okay, for the economy video, that's just kind of like the one we watched in class. I just can't remember if we finished it in class. There will be a link in the description to the website, okay, to watch this video. Underneath the link, there will be a code that you'll be asked for when you follow that link. Thirdly, in the description is the name of the video that you are to watch, okay? So a link in the description, a code to input after going to the link. Once you have access, given that code and link, there is a video you need to watch. The name is in the description. After that, we do have a PowerPoint. We have a lecture. If you'll notice, you've got said lecture here in the form of a PowerPoint on your documents, but it's a little bit different, okay? Lately, we've been doing this thing in class where, what is this? Get out of my face. Lately in class, we've been doing this thing where we do little cool pictures on the whiteboard, and that's how we take notes. We're actually going back to how we did it last semester, for right now, at least, where I used to give you the things to know. Okay, so this PowerPoint is the things to know PowerPoint that I'll be giving the lecture off of. So you'll need to follow along when we get to that point. After the lecture, you need to take some time and finish the Animal Farm reading in page 312 of the workbook. Okay, the Animal Farm reading, that's important. It's just a cool, fun thing to read to get you to understand economy. After that, you guys have some more reading for homework. You need to read through chapter 16.7 all the way to 16.10. Man, I'm having every bodily fluid right now happening. I'm burping. My nose is running. I have like a lot of spit. Okay, let's get back to it. We also have a vocab assignment that's coming up. That's going to be due here. And we also have DQs that'll be due the same day as we do the test. A vocab quiz coming up. I'm on a honestly thinking that we're not going to do reading quizzes. Because if you watch the other video, you'll see that all quizzes and tests are open book, open note. And what's the point of having an open book reading quiz? Anyway, so here's what we'll do to start our time together. Let's pray about all of our lives, and then I'll prompt you through the class session, okay? Here we go. Heavenly Father, I thank you for our 12th grade students. What a wild and unique and weird way to end your high school time with Corona Week. And Father, I pray for the students and for their comprehension of all the class material, not only in Bible class, but in every other class as well. And I pray that you would use me as your instrument to impact them and to help them to understand what the economy looks like from a Christian worldview, but also to understand from different worldviews and the deficiencies therein. Lord, I know that you are a God of peace and grace and confusion, and this time in our world is not a time of peace, and it is definitely a time of confusion, and you are not a God of confusion. And so, Lord, I pray that in our hearts we would yearn for your peace that surpasses all understanding, whether we are believers or not. And I pray that if anyone in our class is not a believer, they would see on their fellow human beings who are Christian this peace that surpasses all understanding, and it would make them want and to have that thing which gives us peace. So, Lord, I pray all these things in a very heartfelt way. And I ask them to be blessed and to be done in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, students, go ahead and take some time to pause this video. Go read through the Heidelberg Catechism, which I have given you, day one, which I've given you under your documents there. Read through it. Write out a brief response, a brief meditation on the Heidelberg Catechism, and you'll be turning that in along with your homework on Thursday, March 26th, when you have a homework turn-in day, okay? So go ahead and pause the video now and do that, and I'll wait around until you're ready to go. Okay, if you're watching this, then that means you have completed the Heidelberg Catechism devotional, and now you can pause the video again and go watch the economy video if you haven't already. Like I said, the link, the code, and the video name is in the description. I'll wait. Don't worry about me. I'll wait. Okay, welcome back. If you're seeing me, then it's because you have finished watching the economy video, and now, my guy, you're ready for the lecture. So go ahead and pull up the PowerPoint. I've got the PowerPoint here on my screen. Go ahead and just make my screen small, like over here, and make the screen over here the PowerPoint, and be ready to take notes. Just take notes. Richard, take notes. Faith, are you kidding me? Take your notes. That's what I thought. Carlos, take your notes. Okay, I've got the PowerPoint up here, so should you. It's titled 16.4 to 16.6. Let's go to the now second slide, titled 16.4, Things to Know. Okay, there's a few things you need to grasp and understand, the few building blocks for all economy that you need to understand, okay? And according to the textbook, I have no reason to disagree with the textbook, the U.S. economy has a various number of essential building blocks, okay? And in order to provide stability, the government has to ensure certain things. One of those things that government definitely assures is property rights and also rights to intellectual property. Intellectual property is if you have an idea, if you have an invention, if you write a book, if you make a speech, create a speech and present a speech, that's your intellectual property. You made that. This video is my intellectual property, and if you steal it and claim you made it, then that would be incorrect, and you're stealing my intellectual property, okay? So we have, as part of a stable economic government situation, we gotta have property rights and that includes rights to intellectual property. Next thing that you must know is the U.S. Constitution actually guarantees the right to actually own our ideas, okay? We can own copyrights. We can have patents, and the U.S. Constitution guarantees those things. There's a guy named John Maynard Keynes, and he argues that government should actually borrow money in order to stimulate a down economy and then hopefully generate enough revenue to repay the debt it is in. Okay, so the idea is stimulus packages. If you guys remember what I talked to you about the economic downturn of 2008, various companies were going bankrupt. And that would have been really bad for a lot of people who were employed by those, like Ford and a lot of banks, big business kind of things. And so the government at that time decided to bail out certain governments, not certain governments, but to bail out businesses. And so the United States government, John Maynard Keynes, says it's a good idea for the United States government to do that. Interestingly enough, we're at a time, because of our global crisis, our global pandemic, where we're seeing the government take similar action, even though we've had a change in the presidency, not just from president to president, but also a change from left-wing to right-wing, liberal to conservative presidency. And so similar concepts are happening here. Whether or not John Maynard Keynes has the right idea, I'll leave that to you to decide. But his idea is that in order to stimulate an economy that has taken a dip for the worse, the government needs to let people borrow a loan, and the government itself needs to borrow money to allow people to repay it with interest. And it helps them out in the short run, it helps the whole economy out in the long run, and that's the idea. The thing about economic growth, though, economic growth most definitely is going to require predictability and stability. Okay? You cannot have economic growth without predictability and without stability. We need to have a stable economy in order to be able to invest our money. If you're an average person who is going to have a typical way of earning income and also a typical way of saving for retirement, you're going to have something that's called a 401k. You may even have a 403b if you work for a nonprofit organization. But those are ways that people invest their money right now that they are making, and they put it in the hands of a broker. They let that broker invest their money into different stocks so that 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, the money that you're putting in has exponential growth. If we cannot predict exponential growth, people are most likely not going to invest in those stocks. If we don't have stability, the market is constantly doing something like this, then people are not going to feel as if they can trust their money to have an investment yielded, that they can have a profit yielded. What's the point of me investing $200 into my retirement if when the time comes and I want to retire, I'm 70 years old, I look at that money and that $200 is turned into $75? No, we wouldn't like that. So here's something, a statement that you should remember for a quiz or test coming soon. And it's this: the government should promote economic efficiency and not economic equity. Okay? So we want to make sure that the pie is as big as possible. Okay? And we don't necessarily want the government to ensure that the pie is divided fairly. Okay? So the idea is this: the government should promote having as big a pie as possible, but it should not exactly promote a fair portioning of whatever pie it has, however big or small. Okay? And the reason for that is, again, it goes back to what we talked about under property rights. It goes back to what we talked about having economic stability and predictability. If I'm investing all this money and I do more work, I invest more, I make more sacrifices than the person next to me, and at the end of the day, if our pie is just cut fairly, I now don't have incentive to further myself because I'm working hard and other people are benefiting. And so why don't I also not work hard and benefit just as much as everybody else? Most secularists, guys, are going to believe in having a group of people, a central planning agency that can anticipate every single economic decision and that can also manage every economic outcome. If you'll remember about secularists, they are interested in giving precedence to the smartest people in the room. And so it would make sense that if our thing is trying to be the smartest people in the room or give decisions to smartest people in the room, then we are going to want those people to be the ones who can plan for our economy, okay? And so that's what secularists are going to seek to do. One common question, well, that's actually not so common. I shouldn't speak of mistruth. It's not a common question that I get, but one common question that I have is, why don't we just end up printing more money and then keep it on the down low and not tell people that we've printed more money and now our economy is booming and people just have money? The reason why the government does not print more money in order to pay off whatever debt it has is the price of everything will increase. It will go up. And yet the money, the dollar figures that we have, decrease in value. One thing that happened at the end of World War II is the German nation ended up printing off a lot of marks. That's a lot of their money. They printed out a lot of money to pay for things. We saw a wild display of a loaf of bread going for several thousand marks. Imagine a loaf of bread going for several $1,000s. That's the kind of thing that we don't want. If it's me, I kind of want my bread to be worth around $1 or less. Let's keep it there, not worth thousands of dollars. Let's go ahead and transition to the next slide now. We're now at 16.5, covering secularism. Ayn Rand, if you'll remember, the person who I said is one of the most ugly people alive. And it's true. She's not a very attractive person. But she kind of was a big brain. And she had very pointed opinions about economy, okay? She kind of falls under the realm of secularism, very smart, a highly intellectual person. And she was a secularist who specifically defended the principles of capitalism. And she said capitalism is truly the only just means and the only just economy. Excuse me, I shouldn't have said just means. Capitalism is the only idea of a just economic system. And to have anything related to socialism or communism, she thought was the antithesis of morality. The interesting thing about Ayn Rand is she's Russian. And she came out of Russia almost basically as a political refugee to the United States. And she immediately heralded the cause of capitalism, saying how terrible communism is. It removes incentive. People need to have private property. People need to have reason to work hard in order to further the governmental and economic establishment. So she was all about capitalism, small government, big money. The biggest problem with socialism in general, though, is that it does, in fact, remove the incentive to work, and it removes the incentive to create wealth. If I'm going to work hard, 90-hour work weeks, sleep very little, see my family very little, but at the end of the day, I get $500 million a year, worth it? But if I have to do all that work and my $500 million a year is shared with every single person in the nation of the United States of America, and I only now see $200,000 of that, the 90 hours I'm putting in, all the sacrifice I'm making, no longer is, well, worth it for me. There's a lack of incentive. Ayn Rand has a great theory going on, capitalism all the way, our economies will boom. But the reality of it all is that most economies are actually a combination of capitalism and socialism, including the United States. Okay? We, in the United States, would say, oh, we're such a capitalist economy, and that's true. We have a free market economy, which means that I can open a business. If you like my product, you can buy my product, and if other people like it, they can buy it, and I can get rich. Okay, I can trade whatever I like within the realm of reason. But we also have social welfare systems that help people in need. We had briefly a concept of universal health care. We have a social security that helps to provide for people. We are more capitalist than we are socialist, but there is an element of socialism in our economy. Take, for example, Denmark, though. Denmark is a nation that people use as like the star child for socialism. And they say, wow, you don't think socialism can work? Look at Denmark. Denmark is a socialist economy, and they do really well. Their test scores are great. Their people are happy. Everyone can get their illnesses treated. And the reality of the situation is, yes, they do have a great socialist presence in their government and in their economy. But there's a solid piece of capitalism that drives their economy in the first place. So don't let people try to convince you and say that Denmark is a great figurehead of socialism, because the fact is they have capitalism in their economy. All right, let's go on to 6.6. If you feel as if I didn't cover everything under 6.5, guess what? You got the PowerPoint and you have notes and you can read it yourself. Sue me. 16.6, Marxism. I'm just kidding, don't sue me. I have like $3. I have $3. Do you want my $3? You can have my $3. Okay, 16.6, Marxism. Karl Marx, we already know where this is going. Okay, we've discussed ad nauseum what Karl Marx is all about. He favored socialism over capitalism because he believed that capitalism allowed the bourgeoisie to hoard wealth by paying workers less than they were actually worth. And he also believed that socialism is more stable than capitalism across the board. And here's the thing. According to Marxist theory, according to Karl Marx in his way of structuring government and seeing the economy, he saw socialism as a transitional piece between capitalism and free market economies to communism. And he predicted that that was a necessary step. And that's a sobering idea, that he planned to have socialism before having communism. Should be kind of a bit of a warning sign. His ultimate end goal was to have a utopia. We've yet to see utopia happen in communist countries. If we look at somewhere like Venezuela, oh my goodness, those poor people are perishing. Those poor people are being oppressed under the thumb of their communist socialist government, and they cannot escape, and it is so scary. It is the exact opposite of a utopia. People are digging through trash to get crumbs. People are digging through trash to find anything valuable, and it is not working out in the way that Karl Marx has said. Okay, Karl Marx had this idea called the surplus value theory of labor. And he said setting prices above labor costs of production leads to a situation in which the bourgeoisie amasses wealth at the expense of the proletariat. So having anything beyond the capability of the proletariat, of the common people, to be able to purchase allows for the bourgeoisie, the rich people, the business owners, the property owners, landowners, to hoard masses of wealth. That's just what that means, okay? We've officially come to the end of the lecture portion of our video for today. I'm now looking at the notes here, You should use this opportunity to pause the video and finish the Animal Farm reading on page 312 of the workbook. So I'll let you go ahead and pause it now before I give you a concluding statement. Waiting for you, bud. Just waiting. Waiting. Okay, here we are. You're back now because you just finished reading Animal Farm from your workbook. You, for homework tonight, should read 16.7 to 16.10. I look forward to discussing with you the Christian concept of economy and how that looks, according to the textbook, of course. Don't forget about the vocab. Don't forget about the vocab quiz coming up and the unit test. Okay, if you guys have any questions, please reach out to me via PAN or email. I don't think I've given you any of my cell phone number, and that was intentional. So just reach out to me under those specific, with those specific ways. Okay, God bless. Grace and peace.